You ever had that feeling like, oh man, I made a mistake by getting this? Ugh. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So in this video I want to talk about my 3 days to 5 days with the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Now first thing I want to say is I messed up by buying this phone. I really did, because I didn't buy it soon enough. There's plenty of people out there that say, hey Jay, you need to hurry up and buy this phone. It's actually pretty great. But they were telling me that when the phone was in a price range that I felt like it wasn't worth at the time, because I had no hands on. I hadn't used it, I hadn't tested it, I had only watched videos on it, and that's something that I try to avoid doing. But more importantly, the price. The phone first started off at 800 bucks. And I thought, as great as that phone sounds, I'm not going to jump out and pay $800 for this phone. I do have other Sony phones that I think are fantastic. My XA Premium Ultra, my XA Ultra, that phone was fantastic. My SIM tray broke and I was very disgusted by that. But now it's replaced, and this one still has that same type of deal to get it in and out. But I got this thing sealed up. I have no intentions on moving it around like I did before. So how's the phone been for the last 3 to 5 days? Absolutely great. So I'm going to go ahead and tackle the elephant in the room, which is a couple things. No fingerprint reader on the US model by default. Some people are saying, Jay, you need to hurry up and you need to flash the international ROM. And I say to that, no, I don't want to flash the international ROM, because I feel like the location unlock, the facial unlock, and the PIN are more than enough for me. It's pretty much always unlocked when it's on my person, or I'm at home, or somewhere else that I've designated as safe. So that to me solves that issue. I just don't have the problem of not having a fingerprint. And at first, you know, it took some time because I was entering the PIN, and I thought, wait a minute, in the unboxing phase, when I was first unboxing it, I was questioning whether it could do facial unlock, but I forgot about location unlock and body unlock. And so if you don't use those with your Android phones, they're fast. You know, you just swipe up and the phone's unlocked, and that's it. And that right there took care of that issue that some people thought I was going to have a problem with, which was not having a fingerprint reader. But I bought this phone at $499 knowing that it didn't have a fingerprint reader. So, and I also knew that I had no intentions on flashing the international ROM. So that took care of that. Another thing that some people, said, was the screen. The screen being capable of 807 pixels or something like that per inch, because it's a 4K display, but Sony has obviously scaled it back to reserve battery and things like that. But the pixels are there; they're just turned off, pretty much. So I would say to the people who say, Jay, you need to go in and change the settings. Well, I have no intentions on doing that at this point. That's just my preference. Sony, maybe they'll release an update in the future, or there'll be some third-party app with a one-click, so I can turn it on and off easily. But I know how to do it through ADB, so that's not an issue. I just don't see the benefits of doing it at this point, because the only time I use the 4K display is for watching 4K content. I no longer have to go to the Chrome browser on my Mac or whatever computer I'm using. I don't have to do that. So I can just do it right from this phone, which is absolutely great. You can watch HDR10 content because it's HDR10 compliant. I've watched 60 frames per second at 4K, which is absolutely great. It just looks way more beautiful on this smaller display right in my hand, and I'm totally happy with that. So those two things, people seem to have thought I was going to have this major issue with, but I don't. The phone is IP68. It has a 5.5-inch display. Oh, one last thing before I get into the stuff that I wanted to really talk about for a few moments. The bezels on the top and bottom. Some people say, oh, those bezels are horrible. I have a different variety of phones. I think it actually makes this phone beautiful, because there's space down on the top. Well, it's really more it's the bottom. If they would have done physical buttons, then that would have taken care of that space on the bottom, and maybe people wouldn't say, oh, that's horrible. But in reality, the Sony logo up top, the camera sensors, the proximity sensors, the LED notification, all that's up top. So that kind of takes care of the top bezels for me. But the bottom bezel is a little bit larger because it just has that speaker grill down there. So they probably have sensors and things in there. And that's to be expected with some phones. That doesn't bother me either. Just doesn't. But again, now let's move on to the things that I think are great. IP68, it's got the high resolution display. It's got a headphone jack. The noise canceling microphones are there. Type-C. It's got a camera button. It's got a button that's actually functional. You know, I like having a camera button. You just long press, boom, and the camera's open just that quick. And speaking of the camera, that's another high point for this phone. The cameras are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've actually already done some footage on the channel with this front camera. Now, one person was asking me, man, Jay, the footage in this video is fantastic. It's an actual real camera. That's what I was telling him. That was my Canon M100, so which is what this is being recorded with as well. But I have done some footage with this camera already, and you guys couldn't even tell. It comes out great. Front-facing video, rear video. This 19 megapixel camera on the back of this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'll reserve my judgment on the cameras when I compare it to the iPhone X and the Note 8 and all these other phones later. I'll just put out those videos, and then you guys can see for yourself. Because there are a ton of phones out there that are completely underrated. And this one right here already falls into the underrated category. What held this phone back probably? Price. Just like the Essential phone, just like the Moto Z2 they come out too high in price. The LG G6, these phones come out too far up the price line and people don't buy them. And especially for a phone like this is a full cost unlocked device, so you're gonna have to pay full cost if you want it. Once this dropped to $499, when it dropped to $550, I was hesitant. In a good way, I was saying I should really grab this. The next week, it went down to $499. That to me, done. I'm going to get it. You're within my range of what I want to spend, and I knew how much phone I was getting. I knew what I wasn't getting, and I knew what I was getting. And so I'm happy with this purchase. An area where this phone really shines is battery as well. There's just absolutely no way you shouldn't have to charge this through the day. You shouldn't. Because I'm a heavy user and I don't have to charge through the day. I definitely make it, well, 23, 24 hours. 22 to 25 hours is when I have to charge. But with that, I'm getting 6.5 hours of screen on time, and I probably could get a little bit more. But I choose to just put it on the charger when it gets down. When the light flashes to say plug up your phone, I just plug it up in most cases. If in fact I do that. If I let the phone get that low. But I will tell you though, owning this phone right here, I'm happy with the purchase. I'm super excited to finally get it in, because so many people told me it was great, and I thought, I know it's great, but it's not $800 great. And now that I have it, it's always like this. Sometimes the price is the determining factor of the success of a device, and that's just what it is. This phone right here, that's what it's going to be. Would I have paid more than $500 for this phone now that I have it? Yeah, I would have. I don't want to, but if I'd have known how great it was, I probably would have did it. Because I did it with the Essential phone. I paid $650 for my first Essential phone. Yeah. This phone offers a lot. The Sony software is something that I don't speak on a lot because I like Sony software. I think it's fantastic. It's buttery smooth, man. This phone does run Oreo. I'm on the April 2018 security patch. When I took it out of the box, I got an update for Oreo, and then also it got like 10 updates. It just updated and updated and updated until it got to the latest update, which was April 2018. And we are in fact in May of 2018, so another update should be coming soon. Overall performance though, no issues, folks. I just don't have a problem with it. So I wanted to give you an updated video of my 3 to 5 day mini review of this phone, and so far it's doing fantastic. Got my main SIM card in here, rolling with it, loving it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.